Welcome back, everybody, to another In Good Company. I am Dan Cunningham, CEO of Fact HVAC, and I am here today with Linda Kazares from Linda Kazares Photography, and we are going to learn about a fascinating innovation to her business that she discovered through the recent pandemic and everything, and hear some about her professional happenings. So, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm excited. So, obviously photography was, along with even production like what we're doing here, was one of those areas of the world that was heavily affected by shutdown orders, other things, starting in 2020. And, you found a different way to pursue your business and everything throughout that. Can you tell me the story?
Sure. Be glad to. Well, as you said, with COVID, all of a sudden everything shut down. I went, oh my gosh. What am I going to do? Now, I've got a 30-year technology background.
Okay.
So I went
what type of tech were you in?
It was software development, and then I also went into assisting clients on their distribution and packaging and marketing of software products when they actually came in a box.
Right,
okay?
The SaaS
I don't
products
know
that
who
were in a
remembers
box.
it when they came in a box, but they did come in a box. Anyway, so I went, okay, there's got to be a solution of some sort. And I found a solution that I didn't care for at all, but it got me through the first couple months. In the meantime, I kept searching for a better solution, higher resolution, more studio-like, and I found it. So I started promoting to my clients and people online and a lot of Zoom meetings, that type of thing. And from there, it's begun to grow, and now it's actually getting really busy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, and it's remote photography, right?
Yes, thank you. It's called remote photography, or some people know it by virtual photography.
Okay.
And I sit at my computer in Scottsdale, and I have clients in Australia, Japan, London, all over.
International.
All over, and of course a lot in the U.S. And it's primarily headshots, and they're
Okay.
usually used for online social media like LinkedIn.
Okay.
I do some branding. If they're not local, I'll do personal branding photo shoots, like I just did one with a woman who consults to the football teams. So we did some with footballs, so it was a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing this.
That's awesome. I was going to ask, so who's the core client? Is it mostly kind of more professional executives, or is it more influencers with the personal brands, or who are you finding has the most value from it?
Yeah, it's not influencers, because a lot of them are doing selfies and that type of thing. So my clients are mostly professionals, entrepreneurs, individuals who want to project a certain look and feel of themselves. So when I work with them, we do casual and dress up.
Okay.
Okay. So then on top of that, my other client base is corporations that have multiple locations with remote employees. So for instance, I mentioned about companies that bring their salespeople in. Well, a lot of them have remote employees who they're not going to get together in one place. So they can be in Japan or Argentina. I've done Argentina. And so they'll contract with me to do their headshots over a few week period of time. And they're great. Those relationships are fantastic.
That is fascinating. So you can be here in Scottsdale and be taking headshots of somebody in Argentina or in Japan.
Correct.
How do you manage the technology differences, I guess, or if I were to set up a camera and try to take a picture of myself, I would not do this very well.
Okay,
So,
I should have been more clear in what I'm doing. Yeah. I have my computer.
Yeah.
They have their cell phone.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have a
I'm sorry.
They're working off a cell phone?
They're working off their cell phone, either an iPhone or any Android. And I have a proprietary software product that I have on my computer, and then I have them download on theirs. All right, so what happens is they get a code that they then give to me, and I can't enter their phone until they give me permission. And once we're done, it's done. Mm-hmm. And so they can't see themselves. It's just like a studio headshot or a studio photography session. And what I'll do is I will pose them on screen. I'll tell them, turn this way, go that way. The phones, for the most part, have the capability of lighting and other features that a camera might have, that I can control that And then, of course, I will take it and I will edit it for the client. And start to finish, it's just like a studio photo shoot, except they have to set it up, they have to have a tripod and whatnot. But I found that a lot of them actually think it's a lot of fun. Because the other thing that happens is a lot of people don't like going into a studio. They're very intimidated. And that actually takes longer to do studio than to do one the way the remote. So I've got one client, actually more than one, but this one client, I got the biggest kick out of this guy. He shows up with certain clothes and a white shirt and some striped jacket. Well, I said, look, I think you would look better if we took a look at some other options. So he took his phone with him into his closet, okay? And I said, okay, take that blue shirt, take that jacket, no stripes, and let's go. And so I just thought that was a great feature. And people even say to me, they go, oh my gosh, I got my outfits here, but if I need to do something else, then I'll do it.
That's actually a really fascinating piece because you have a little more endless wardrobe to a degree. Right?
Absolutely.
And two things you said really stuck out to me as somebody who frankly does not like the studio experience mostly or photos of any sort, actually, to be honest. I would not feel comfortable. I would feel more comfortable in my own environment, right? I'd be able to relax and be more myself and getting more authentic photo because I'm in my own environment. And then the other piece of they can't see themselves on the camera. So when you turn around and take a selfie, for example, right, you're looking at yourself. And that always kind of changes the eye line in the photo. And also just...
And everything's reversed.
Those of us who are exactly, it's flipped, right? You can't wear a hat because it's going to say it backwards, right? All the features of that, I would be more comfortable not seeing.
Yes.
So that's interesting that gives a different experience to the end user.
And then what happens is after a shoot or kind of during the shoot, I will show them a couple of the pictures on the side of their camera that they can see, and they'll go, oh gosh, I like that, but I want to turn this way a little bit. Great, let's go do it. So I can keep shooting for them until they're happy with it. That's
really cool. It's a very collaborative experience, even more so than I think traditionally a lot of people would think about photography. Like I say here, you take my picture, you're doing your thing. Yeah, we're kind of collaborating, but in this case, the subject's getting to collaborate a lot.
Absolutely. Right down to, I'll send a woman to the mirror. I'll go, oh, look, go in the bathroom, comb your hair down. Because, it's hair,
it's all over the place.
Whatever, So anyway, yeah, it's collaborative. That's I'm going to keep that. I'm going to work on it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I do.
It's something that sticks out in the whole process. And you are really collaborating with them. Which again eases things, get less tension, more natural a look on camera.
Yeah.
So future of this in your world, are you seeing still high demand for it? I mean, obviously you got into it because of a bunch of lockdown orders and other stuff like that. Now we're kind of over that at this point in time, theoretically. Are you seeing more people want to do more studio stuff or have you out, or is this still very much a trend for you?
It's a good question because I thought when COVID was over, I'd have to drag my camera equipment or I'd have to keep my studio set up in my house. And then I'd have to put my dog away because, And so, no, it's actually increasing because as people start to understand what this is, they go, if I don't have to go into a studio, I'm fine. All right. Now, I'm not going to do a magazine cover this way.
No, right. Yeah.
Right. But for all the social media purposes, it is perfect. And the other thing that's interesting is when I do, like I said, the clients where I'm doing a number of their employees around the world, what we do is we set up a consistent background. So I'll customize a background for the client so it looks like all their employees were in the studio because it's completely branded, completely the look and feel that the client wants.
Oh, excellent. So yeah, you kind of composite it in and make it look, that's awesome. That's amazing.
And you can't even tell. I mean, with the software and everything, you cannot tell. You're not getting like the Zoom screens, when they have green screen. Yeah, it's not
with
like
the halo effect.
Not like that at all.
Half your face is blurred.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Interesting. What you had mentioned earlier off camera and stuff that you were looking at actually training and setting up. It is proprietary software and stuff. Your background's in software development, so technically you're very advanced. you're setting up a tutorial or a way of training people to do this, right?
Right.
Photographers, to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, and it's a couple months off.
Okay.
But my feeling is that the more people who know about this, the more work I'm going to get. You know, when I was in high tech, I wrote books and I did consulting, and people would go, "Why did you write a book?" Because when they read it and they don't understand it, anyway, that isn't why I did it. But yeah, I want to train as many photographers as possible, trade leads. And again, when people become familiar, like I came from a meeting and I've been there about 3 months now. Now they're just not photographers, but the clients are now just starting to get and understand that this is viable, it's high quality, and it is conducted just like a studio shoot.
That's fantastic. So they still get that's another point. They're still getting the value of the experience.
Oh yeah.
They're getting the experience of a real photo shoot. It's just even more natural, more comfortable, and all those things.
Right.
Interesting. So as you roll out the training course, is there a website that people could find out about that?
Not yet.
Okay.
No,
All right.
not yet. They can contact me because I would love to have a couple photographers who want to work through the beta phase.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And get their feedback, because there's always things that need to be changed, tweaked, to help everybody understand what's going on.
Sure. It's different to do it yourself, learn it yourself, and then there's the training in a way that everybody could understand and actually process.
Right. I mean, I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, and I'm still learning. I had somebody yesterday, and a client, and she didn't quite understand a couple of the features. So we just got on the phone, and I explained it to her, and I learned a ton from that in terms of the dialogue that I have to put into the training, as well as what I have to do to improve my communication with my clients, which is number one.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
Yeah.
You have to be able to communicate with them, and they have to be able to understand and execute that action on their side, right?
Yeah.
Which is its own. How does it go? Like, out of curiosity, how does it go working abroad with different languages? I would assume, or things like that. I mean, if you're shooting in Argentina or in Japan, are those typically English speakers, or?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So far.
Just also the time zone.
So far.
Yeah, time zones.
Yeah, time. Well, okay, so not most, all of the people that I've worked with so far internationally speak English.
Okay.
Whether it's native or not for them. So that worked. Time differences. If I have a big client who has employees all over the world, I will make sure I'm available.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're also very flexible. You know, they'll do a shoot at 6 o'clock at night, and I'll be working with them at 6 in the morning,
right,
or whatever I have to do to make my client happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's got to be a real experience.
I'll tell you the hardest part about it is figuring out what my time is. Okay? They usually
exactly what time difference.
Exactly. They know what my time is. So I always have to go, okay.
Right, and you're like, do you guys celebrate daylight savings time?
Yeah,
do you guys
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. That's fun. So as a photographer before this, were most of your works headshots and things like that, or were you in other artistic pieces, or?
I was in artistic pieces. I was doing boudoir for a while. I did branding on site, on location, branding photo shoots. I do product shoots for some clients.
Okay.
I have one coming up where we're going to set up a whole scene because they have products, but they want the products to fit in the scene. So we'll do that type of thing.
Okay.
I have done some not wedding. I've done some photos of women getting married who want to present their husband with a catalog, an album. So I've done quite a bit. I've done families. I love family reunions. Those are the best.
Really?
Because when you can come out and have 30 people who all look great in a photo, then I'm a very happy camper. So I love working with families.
Oh, family reunions. I would think that could lead to some stories for photos.
Oh my God. I had one because they were going to be outside in the sun.
Right.
And so what I did was I had them stand under an overhang and I posed them all there. I said, now you all go over here in the same positions, order that you're in, and let's go. And we did it.
Nice.
It was great. It was so much fun.
I cannot fathom organizing my extended family into a photo if you pay me. That's fantastic. So are you, beyond, like, what are your favorite things to shoot? Like, what, I mean, obviously family reunions, you mentioned that one.
Yeah, I love
What excites you looking forward to photography, and what are the top 3 things you haven't captured yet you would like to?
Oh,
So
come
let's ask that
on.
question.
Come on. Well, one thing I'd love to be able to do that I can't is landscape photography. Like when I started this, I had come out of an industry where I dealt with a lot of people. So
Okay.
I go, I don't want to deal with any more people. I'll do landscapes and mountains. I can't do that. I need a person or an object to focus on.
Interesting.
And then I can
Yeah.
make it beautiful. But for me to try to pick out in a landscape what the best picture is, I'll leave that to Ansel
And
Adams.
so I was going to say, like, that's why he
Yeah.
is fantastic at what, that is that art,
I
Interesting. Okay.
I did some fashion photography. I love doing that.
Okay.
And some photography for magazines.
Yeah.
That is there's a whole different reward in that to begin with. So yeah, it's a families. I love my remote and anything that's challenging. Something new that relies on my talent, but something I might not have shot before. So I don't know how to go beyond that. Fashion, boudoir.
Hey, you seem to have covered a lot of the options out
Well,
there.
I've had to focus. But when I started, it was like, okay, I'll do everything, and then I focus, and that's why the remote, headshots, branding, and families predominantly. Yeah.
Okay. Going back to that transition from like tech background into photography, what motivated that switch?
I retired.
Okay.
Yeah, early 2000s, right around when the tech bombed.
Right.
And that was just a
The
good
dot-com
time.
bomb.
Yeah, and I know I had just set up a new office and phones and employees, and I went, oh my God. And so that kind of ended it. So it took me a couple of years, and I bought a camera. And then I hired a guy. I said, show me how to use this camera. I did not know. I mean, I could turn it on. I didn't know
Overbought the
how to
technology.
focus it. None of that. So that's 18 years ago, 17 years ago. So I'm well qualified now. But when I started out, and I've always been a visual person. So I've painted and I've done a lot of visual sculptures, things like that. And this is the one thing that I've stuck through.
Stuck through,
to.
right.
Yeah.
Right. But obviously very artistic in nature for you to try each one of those things and to finally find one that really works for you.
And I'm a visual. You know how they talk about people being auditory and all of that? I'm an absolute visual.
Interesting.
I need to see it sometimes to understand it. My husband's a CPA, and if he shows me a spreadsheet, or if he starts talking numbers, I said, put it on paper, and I'll look at it and I'll understand it.
And then I will get it.
Yes, yeah.
Fair enough. So it goes into your other elements of life as well. You're very visual.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, is there what questions have I not asked you about that you think I should have?
You've been really comprehensive. In fact, you've asked questions that I wouldn't have thought to bring up. So, I mean, you've brought it all up. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm on time, roughly.
Yeah, so where can people find you? Web address, social media?
Or social media, yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
So all you have to do is remember my name, Linda Kazares, Kazares. My website is lindakazares.com. Facebook is Facebook/Linda Kazares. Twitter is Linda Kazares. Instagram is Linda Kazares.
Makes it very easy.
It's very
Seeing
easy.
a theme in your branding.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Okay, great. And I assume you'll announce on those platforms when you have the course for photographers.
Oh, absolutely.
And if we do have any photographers in our world who are interested in betaing it, we'll connect those over.
Please have them contact me. Yeah,
Excellent.
I'd appreciate
That'd be
that.
fun. That'd be
Yeah.
really cool. Awesome.